Ladies and wait, we can start over. We're starting over. You can just cut that. Ladies and gentlemen, lads and lasses, welcome back to another Second Age show with Fellowship of Fans. I'm your host for today's stream, Barking Roomsong. And on the panel with me, my esteemed co-host, we have Harry. How's it going?
Good, great. Thank you for having me on.
And Hen. How's it going?
Fine, fine.
Are you, where are you seated right now, sir?
Oh, just outside the Lonely Mountain,
That seems very fitting because, I've got my beard on, you're at the Lonely Mountain, and this is an exclusive, folks. This is a national new trending holiday. When I tell you, folks, that today is National Narvi Day, and that's right, exclusive. Narvi is a Dwarven character listed in the production for the Rings of Power Season 2, and his code name is Rolm, Rolm. What do you guys think about that? That your boy Narvi might be getting some screen time here in Season 2.
Sounds awesome. I mean, we only get, two main Dwarven characters and a secondary character and doing the third. So, it's the smallest storyline in terms of the size of the cast, I think. And so it makes sense to get another one. And Narvi is a good idea to do that. I wonder how big a role it will be. We'll have to wait and see.
Harry, what do you think?
First of all, I'm just excited that we're doing one of these, and it's not an original character for once. So it's really nice to have it as a Tolkien character. And out of the ones they could have picked, Narvi is quite an exciting one because an event that we'll talk about quite soon that is linked to that. But overall, first of all, happy to see more dwarves because the dwarves and that storyline was one of the best. I know, Varkin, one of the best of season 1 alongside Elrond. So I think, yes, very excited, really happy we're getting that character. And I think hopefully maybe this is, whether he was going to be in season 2 anyways or not, is nice to see at least we're going in the direction with this show of finally getting to the more lore aspects and events of the Second Age instead of, whatever with Sadok Burrows and Theo and all that stuff. Like we're finally getting the actual meat and bones of it. And whether those meat and bones around Narvi would be good or not, we're left to be seen because I know
and
some
also
people
malt beer.
Yeah, exactly. But whether we know that whether the writing stuff be good or not, we'll have to wait and see. Because I know that can still be worried. But yes, I'm very excited. But Barky, my man, I know you, my friend. How are you feeling?
I've been since we kind of started putting this stream together of like what it was going to be about and what we were going to reveal for the folks on the internet. It's been really hard to not be super excited. And as you were saying, it sounds like you've had enough of the quail sauce and you were ready for the meat and you're ready for it to be raw. I think that's where we're all at. We'd all like the juicier part of the story, and I think that Narvi gives you some of that. Narvi's going to have this great relationship with Celebrimbor, ideally, and they're going to build the doors of Durin. There's that whole plot line, and I have guesses as to how we get there, because right now you have Durin is like the go-to for the elves currently, but Durin's now fighting with his father because of his relationship with the elves, so maybe he steps back away from Celebrimbor a bit, and that's what makes Celebrimbor look for another dwarf to partner with, and that's how we get introduced to Narvi, who by the way is the greatest smith of all time, and it shan't be argued. Yeah, I know Celebrimbor makes some rings, but the rings aren't always good. But that door, people get that door tattooed on them. That's how nice it is. It got featured in movies. Nobody's ever said a negative thing about that beautiful door. So Narvi is the man. And, you had said you're a little, we'll see how the writing is for it. Well, I feel like the one plot line in season 1 that had outside of like one little Silmithril moment, the
Balrog. And the Balrog.
Well, I'm not even upset about the Balrog. That was here's the thing that we're showing you now that hopefully doesn't pay off for ever, maybe until they announce a spinoff now that all these new rights are coming out. But I think the Dwarven storyline as a whole, episode to episode, had the least amounts of complaints around it, and I think they handled it the best. And I can't see any reason, unless we're going to introduce like 17 new dwarves as well, why Narvi wouldn't be able to get his proper shine. And I'm just really excited that we're getting another known dwarf, and it's Narvi. And oh man, it's just gonna be. They didn't reach out to me to see if I was interested in being cast, but like just me speculating off camera about all these different people. I went to Twitter when they announced everybody in their new like this person's joining the team. I asked every single one of them if any of them were going to be a dwarf, and nobody replied back. But I'm pretty sure one of them is going to end up being Narvi.
We can actually go into that in a second. But firstly, I want to raise an interesting point. So, we know the doors were created around 1500 of the Second Age, and Anatar, who people have been talking about him a lot, whether he'll be in season 2 or not, what events will happen. But it's a episode season, 2 episodes, probably episode 7 8 is going to be a massive battle. So I'm guessing Anatar won't be there because he'll be in a Sauron form. Then that leaves 6 episodes. Halbrand is currently in Mordor, and we know that'll be there for maybe 1 or 2. And then now we've got, during that period, at least maybe at the start of season 2, Celebrimbor is going to be helping forge and with the Doors of Durin, which leads me to, so will we see that first and then have whatever with, ring making, the creation of the other rings afterwards then? Because this seems like, I'm not sure Anatar would come back, everything could happen, and then they would do that, if you kind of get what I mean. So the rest of the rings are forged before the Doors of Durin. I think it's a good thing to start season 1.
You gonna mute that call? Well, I hope that this is the dwarf season for some sort of forging of the rings. We got the elf rings in season 1. I was hoping we get dwarf season 2, and then like the human season 3, and then you have your last 2 seasons to kind of like let things play out. Maybe there's less rings forged in season 2. I don't know, but I know that Charlie Vickers had said when season 1 ended, the one group that he really wanted to work with that he didn't have any screen time with was the dwarves. So I'd love to see them interact and kind of get their shine. And you can do a lot in Cause of Doom. We've been hearing rumors from fellow content creators that Cause of Doom is going to be, double or even triple the size that it was in season 1. Which when you have to accommodate a new room for Narvi, new areas to be in. But then if we're going to forge rings, or if we're going to start the process of building a door, we're going to have to see these new areas anyway. So I'm hopeful that there will be Dwarven rings in this season. Not that they, do anything special.
I think that's fair. So, yeah, I think Narvi, woohoo. And I think the creation of the Doors of Durin would probably be one of the more exciting things of season 1. And it'll be interesting if they will end up giving one of the Dwarven rings to Narvi. What do you guys think on that?
I think maybe he's like I was saying earlier, I think because of the relationship currently with Elrond, Durin, Celebrimbor, Gil-galad, like their go-to guy is Durin the Fourth right now. And I think that relationship, maybe not so much with Elrond, but with the others, gets strained a little bit. So then maybe that's when Celebrimbor kind of links up with Narvi. And then maybe Durin starts getting jealous, and he sees this relationship that Narvi now has with the elves. And that's the relationship that Durin wanted. And maybe that's what entices Durin to accept one of the rings, not Narvi.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that potentially working. It will be interesting to see how he gets introduced as well. Because where was he for season 1? Like we saw Cause of Doom. It's like, will you just do like a surprise entrance out of nowhere?
That's the sort of thing where if you want to, you can criticize anything in any show on those grounds of, well, if this character is so important in season 2, why isn't he in season 1? The nature of the thing is that new characters are always introduced in the course of a show, and you can pick it apart that way if you want to, but I don't think there's a really like a need to do that. And on some level, you just have to sort of roll with it, as it were. We'll see.
And you could.
There are cases that strain credulity, like when Disa like suddenly mentions, "Oh yeah, Durin, your brother," like that's suddenly to have that character show up would be a little like, where were you all this time? But otherwise, usually it's just like, okay, fine, you go with it.
And I'm glad you just brought up that she mentioned your brother, because I think that was some of the rumors that were floating around during the airing of season 1 and when it ended, was that maybe Narvi was somehow going to be linked to Durin as his brother. Like that's who she was talking about. And then there were other rumors that when Elrond and Durin are in the mine shaft and they're going over like what Durin's true dwarf name is, that he was possibly going to say to Elrond that his real name was Narvi and that it wasn't Durin. But the showrunners did an interview, probably I think just a couple weeks after the show had ended, and they had said that his name would have translated to Glassbeard, and it had nothing to do with Narvi, but maybe had more to do with like a defect when he was born. And that's what Durin the Third was kind of talking about, him being weak, and they weren't sure if he was going to make it when he was a baby. So they kind of debunked Durin being Narvi, but we haven't like officially debunked them linking Narvi to Durin as his potential brother, which I don't think they will. But it's just something that you can kind of chew on between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think an interesting thing to discuss about now is what actors, and I have got 3 on screen due to process of elimination, and that is Stuart Bowman. It is that's not William Chubb, Kevin Eldon, and Will Keane. Because I think they look like they're the shortest. I know that can't be 100% confirmation, but they're
the shortest in terms of stature?
Yeah, and they look like they have the most dwarven stature. Because I know it looks like, Gabriel and Jason at least look like they could be good elves or men. So
yeah. In terms of like, there's a certain body build. You're right. But in terms of height, I would be very, very wary because some of the people who have played dwarves are very tall.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, sometimes the height doesn't mean much, but to be fair,
because you have to reduce the size digitally anyway. But
base of stature.
Not if they hire me.
Yeah, but they do have to be right. They do have to be sort of.
I would not. If I had to choose one person in this cast, it would probably be Will Keane. I think he would make. I've seen him in, I think, his Dark Materials and other
his
stuff.
Dark Materials.
He's very good, very stern, stubborn, just like dwarves are, which in the most positive light possible.
Yeah.
So that's a good way. Kevin Eldon, on the other hand, has been in a lot of stuff. So he's quite more of a not veteran actor, but he has been in lots of television shows. And by a lot, I mean a lot. So if you want someone more experienced, you got that there. And then Stuart Bowman, don't know much about him, but he is there as well as a possibility. So V, who would you think? Who would you like most?
I felt like when I was nicely harassing the cast after each announcement, I felt like for a minute there, like I got a notification that was like Will Keane is typing back to you, but I guess that might have just been me daydreaming. But he, of all the ones that were announced, for me, he's the one that immediately I was like, oh, that he could be a dwarf. And I don't know if like maybe it's because I know he's been in a bunch of other stuff and it's been high profile stuff. And I feel like the Dwarven actors, Durin the Third, Peter Mullen, had tons of credits and is a veteran in the scene. And I feel like Will Keane is similar in that mold. Why not keep giving the dwarves, the biggest and the best of all the actors? Top storyline, baby. Why not? Keep it coming.
For sure. So but I think I'm down with, but Will Keane is my number 1 pick as well. What about you, Hen?
I'm looking at them.
All right. Don't need to get
Just
too.
a minute. 1, 2.
While Hen has his time thinking, I think we also have.
Oh, okay. Will Keane. Okay, I can see that.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. And Also, we still have one which is split into two pieces of information. And Henry, do you have any final
Yes,
thoughts on
Yanti.
cast before we move on?
No, I think this is a good choice.
Cool.
I have one. I have one.
Go for it.
So in season 2, there'll probably be, a little bit of a time. I'm not saying like a 20-year time jump. Maybe a year has passed since the season 1 has ended or
Dakar.
whatever. And I think that we have to get an older Gerda and Gamley. And my prediction for teenage Gerda is Amelia Kenworthy.
Ooh, that would be that would be
I
quite
don't
interesting,
know. Would we
depending on
would
the
we get
time
older
jump.
ones?
We'll have to wait and see for that. We
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
I'm just spitballing here, man. I'm feeling good on National Narvi Day, bro.
National Narvi Day, man. You have to get enthusiasm for it. Okay.
I know.
Next one, the next exclusive scoop, is in season 1 when Celebrimbor and Elrond reach the door of Khazad-dûm. Celebrimbor was meant to enter with Elrond and have an extended storyline in Dwarven Kingdom. Then, of course, this ultimately got scrapped. And Hen, do you want to explain the reason why for that?
Oh, it's extremely simple. The fact that they had to recast the role reasonably late into the thing. Like, I think they've shot the entirety, notwithstanding a few pickups perhaps of episode 1 and 2, which is why Celebrimbor's entrance in episode 1 is so kind of like, there's no line of dialogue from him. He's just sort of standing there. That's all just sort of patching up with the new actor over the old one, and as a
So,
result, the storyline was also
yeah.
reduced dramatically.
Okay, so to read what the card says, it says due to Celebrimbor's recasting and the amount of scale work needed in the reshoots when Charles came aboard, and due to this was ultimately scrapped for logistical reasons. So
yes, the scale work was proved very complicated. It's not an easy thing to do.
yeah, and so if I'm guessing if Tom Budge, who was the original Celebrimbor actor, was still involved, I guess you would have seen Celebrimbor in Khazad-dûm, but maybe they had to push Narvi away for seasons. Maybe he's meant to be in season 1, but now he's in season 2, or something along those lines. I know people have complained, and I think rightly so, about the lack of Celebrimbor in this first season. So now maybe we were meant to see in season 1, we will hopefully see in season 2 around Narvi. And also Celebrimbor, what he was meant to be doing in Khazad-dûm in this first season, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that is Vovi. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and I think that maybe due to some of the cuts that they had to make, that's when you get the patent weird elvish stare in the distance. So like when we first see Celebrimbor, he's behind everybody, just kind of like being weird, and then later Gil-galad is following Elrond and Durin, and he's like being super weird in the woods.
Also, Elrond at Khazad-dûm as well, when he was staring at decent Durin.
Was this when he was doing the bat signal ears?
Yeah,
or whatever?
Yeah.
That's very, very confusing to me. Dang, Elrond right there, man. Yeah, I had forgotten about that. That was kind of a funny moment. But like rumor has it, some people may have seen some footage that had Tom Budge in it.
I wonder who.
And of that, I can say that I do feel pretty confident that Charles Edwards made a better Elrond. But I think in one of these snips that somebody may or may not have seen in that footage, I believe
they were walking
up to those same doors, and they had soldiers around them and everything, and it wasn't just...
They're in the same environment, but they're part of a bigger procession. There's quite a few of them, and Celebrimbor is wearing the same wreath that we see people like Galadriel wearing. So he's on a mission from Mr. Gil-galad.
Yep, and hopefully the public gets to see all that cool stuff as well, because I think that there's a trove in there that people would really truly enjoy. We had posted an image for the Haladriel shippers of Charlie Vickers and Morfydd Clark having a good laugh during one of their scenes, and I think Dr. Nosy did a good breakdown of like the conversation that took place during that scene. I just think that in general, people would really, really like to see that stuff. So Amazon, if you're tuning in, put that stuff out.
Put that out, dog. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is quite interesting around that, and we'll see if that any of that ever gets out. But also the fact that we know Celebrimbor was meant to be in Khazad-dûm in season 1, but that ultimately got scrapped due to logistical reasons, and I think it was due to the storyline being bad or anything. And it'd be interesting to see how different the course of season 1 would have been around that as well. But I think to finally wrap up, Varkin, we do now have a Narvi character in season 2. So how are you feeling?
This is like some of the greatest news you could get early. That Narvi in some function is going to be in here, and it's kind of like you knew it was going to happen, or you were hoping that it makes sense. How could you not go over the doors of Durin? How could you not have Narvi in here? But due to rights issues and all that kind of stuff, you never know what has to get changed. Like, I'm not in those rooms to make those decisions, but right now it's like, of all the dwarves I could think to be added currently, he was at the top of my list. So to be able to get some version of him in the show, really, really looking forward to it. I'd love for us to be able to, do our internet creeping that we do and figure out who's playing him. Yeah. And then I can go do like 14 hours of research on them and see, what they've been in the past, and just, make sure that we're getting top-notch Narvi here. I think the only other character known for season 2 that we're definitely getting is the showrunners had mentioned Círdan as soon as season 1 ended. Yep. So we're getting Círdan, and now we're telling you guys that you're also getting Narvi. So it's a pretty exciting time for the show. And Hen, do you have any final thoughts on Narvi being added?
I like having more dwarves. That's simple as that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and look, the other storylines have a lot of characters to go over, so you gotta divide the screen time amongst them. I think the dwarves are in a good position where we're getting enough dwarves that we can also get each one of them a good amount of screen time, and they're not fighting for it. That's also true. And I'm hoping that stays true for season 2, so that it's like early Fellowship of Fans, baby. It's all hits, no misses. But that's it, folks. This is National Narvi Day. Hope you people are excited to be getting Narvi. I know we've been dropping hints left and right without outright saying that Narvi was coming. But it's just a blast to be on here with you guys doing this stuff again and bringing exclusive news to the internet. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching, guys. And Hen, Harry, love doing this with you guys. We should do more of this, especially on the weekends when I'm off.
Yes.
And that's it.
And also while Penguin is sleeping as well.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah, sleeping on the job.
That's what he says, He says, what time is that in my time zone? Oh, I'll be there. But, guys that are shredded like him have to get up early and work out. He probably didn't need to say our messages, whatever. He's beautiful. And that's it. He is. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope everybody enjoys National Narvi Day. And let us know your thoughts on how they're going to implement big old Narv for season 2. That's it. We're out.